Hey guys, it's Allie. Welcome back to Infertile AF, the podcast. This is episode 80 called Paige. Okay guys, so before we get started, I just wanted to remind everybody that Fertility Rally Live is happening on October 24th. So in a nutshell, it's going to be a jam-packed all virtual day filled with keynote speakers, Anna Victoria and Samantha Bush, 2 superstar panels featuring CNN's Chloe Melas, Y7 Studio founder and CEO Sarah Larson-Levy, actress Camille Guadi, and then 4 female REs answering all of your questions. We're also going to have 16 powerful breakout sessions covering IVF, egg freezing, miscarriage, surrogacy, adoption, donor egg and sperm, intimacy during infertility, and a lot more. There's going to be tons of giveaways, exhibitor booths, a virtual VIP swag bag, a happy hour, of course, to cap off the day, and so much more. So if you or anybody you know is going through infertility, please spread the word. You can get tickets. The link is on our Instagram, which is at Fertility Rally, or you can look at my Instagram, which is at Infertile AF Stories. And you can also go to our website, which is fertilityrally.com. We really hope you guys will join us for this amazing, groundbreaking event. Okay, so I can't wait for you guys to hear this episode today with Paige, who is one of the stars of DeMarcus Family Rules, which is a new show on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's a reality show that covers Rascal Flatts bassist Jay DeMarcus's life with his beauty queen wife, Allison DeMarcus. And Paige is Allison's best friend, and she has become kind of the breakout star of the show. So she's really funny. She's also a fashion designer and has a lot of other things going on. So one of the things I wanted to cover with her was she's been open on the show about what she went through to have her twins. So today she's going to tell us all about her infertility story, how she ended up using a surrogate and didn't go through a surrogacy agency, which is interesting and another perspective that we haven't featured yet on the show. So it's a great interview. She's really funny, really cool. Paige, thank you so much for being here today. And without further ado, this is Paige's infertility story. Paige, hey, how are you? Thank you for doing this.
Hey, howdy. I'm so glad. I appreciate you having me.
So good to meet you. First of all, I want to talk about the show. It's been so fun to watch. And tell me how you guys got involved with that and how it's been going on your end. And you've been called the sleeper hit of the show, kind of the.
Well, I don't necessarily know about that. I don't spend much time sleeping with 2 twins, but Allison is my very best friend, and people kind of think, really, y'all are great friends, but we've been friends for years, and she is good friends with the Chrisleys, and I'm acquaintances of them. And they thought, why not, after they guest starred on several of their shows, Chrisley Knows Best, why not go ahead and do your own show about your family in Nashville? And I'm kind of in and out all the time. So I became part of the cast, and here I am. And my kids are in the show, my twins. So
yes. And I love that you talk about, your infertility journey, which we're going to get into, but I'd like to start. Go ahead.
I just want to say it was something that we kind of think is taboo and we wanted to talk about, right?
Yes.
And we've both had our struggles, different struggles, but similar in many ways, any woman that goes through this. But, we want people to watch the show, and episode 3 really focuses a lot on infertility and that journey, and log into Netflix and watch DeMarcus Family Rules.
Yep, absolutely. I love the Netflix boom, boom, that thing that they do. Every time I hear that, I get excited that it's going to be a good show.
That's right.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning with you. Where did you grow up, and did you always want to have kids?
No, I did not always want to have kids, and I'm not grown up yet. I mean, I'm trying to grow up every day, but I live in rural West Tennessee. So if you go to the middle of nowhere and take a left, I live on the right. And that is in South Fulton, Tennessee. So I've always lived in Obion County, Tennessee my entire life.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And no, I didn't necessarily want to have kids. I thought I was going to be that free bird,
Yeah. So you weren't very maternal, or were you focused on other things?
Oh, I don't necessarily think it wasn't being maternal. It's just that I didn't see how they fit into, what I wanted to do. I traveled the world for work as a fashion designer.
Mm-hmm.
I still do that now. Today, I have my retail store in Union City, Joann's, and we sell formal and evening gowns. And so I designed them, and I was in Hong Kong and China and different places all the time, getting fabrics in Paris. And, I just didn't see how I could function as a parent. But then life changed.
Mm-hmm. So tell me what happened when you started to try to have kids.
Well, I mean, honestly, in 2012, I was in China and I became ill. And I diagnosed myself through Google with a pulmonary embolism.
Mm.
So I took a flight back to Hong Kong because I knew I needed to get health care.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been dating this great guy, and I told him, I said, I'm taking a flight. He was an Ohio boy. Don't hold that against him. And I was taking this flight back to Hong Kong, and I kind of saw my life flash before my eyes. I said, man, this is bad. I'm having trouble breathing. So I was in the hospital for many days there.
Was Dr. Google correct? Is that what it was?
That's what it was. Bilateral pulmonary embolism. So
kind of very scary and very serious.
Very serious, but we couldn't figure out what it was caused from. I was on this long flight. I'm a little overweight. I mean, I think every woman maybe kind of wants to lose a few pounds, but
Sure.
I need to lose way more than a few. And that's what it was. And so I had to learn to walk again. And I lived in the Holiday Inn there in Hong Kong for a while. And
wow.
Had a nurse friend that came over that's still my great friend today and took care of me.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this guy that I was dating that came over. And it became apparent that he was the one at that time in sickness and in health kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd never been married, no children either. I didn't have any children. And we were like, maybe we need to do this. But first things first, let's get well. So I took a container ship back across the ocean.
Whoa, because you weren't supposed to fly?
Right.
Okay.
From Hong Kong to Long Beach, California.
Oh my God. How long did that take?
17 days.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
With 22 Filipino men.
Wow.
And my boyfriend.
Okay.
And we said to each other, look, we're either going to fall in love or we're never going to want to see each other again. Because this wasn't like the Carnivore Norwegian. I mean, we're talking your entertainment was a DVD that you may have, a German newspaper that came in once a day, or, some Beck's beer and some Pringles.
Oh my God.
So we made it. And then he rented a minivan and drove me all the way home to my house, which you've never been to. And it was Christmas Eve.
Okay. So suffice it to say you did fall in love on the container ship over Pringles and Beck's.
Got married the next August. And here I was, late 30s. And I thought, well, it's my time to shine. So I went to the hematologist and talked to them. Is there any reason that I should not have children? What do you think this blood clot was caused by? I was on birth control.
Okay.
And they evidently think that the rise in estrogen caused the blood clot.
Whoa.
Combined with the long flight. And the hematologist did all the tests on me. I had no conditions that would cause it. So they told me to never take birth control again.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, but yeah, you should try to have a baby. So I thought, well, what are my chances of doing this? Well, it was pretty easy. I'll be honest with you. I know women have a lot of problem with that part, but literally it was a couple of glasses of wine and I'm pregnant.
Okay.
And I was really excited. Didn't tell my family or anything. Want to get to that 12-week mark. First time I'd ever tried to get pregnant in my life. And one day I was pulling in the driveway and I had like this feeling. I really, like something wasn't right. Like something had happened. And it just went from head to toe, like a wave, like something was wrong. And I'd lost a baby.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
And so I told my husband I was going to the doctor, and yeah, I was right. My suspicions were confirmed.
How far along were you?
Right at 12 weeks, right before the time where you tell your family and get real excited,
Right.
And that was hard to deal with, because then it was an internal struggle. You're glad you didn't tell your people, but there's really nobody to talk to about it.
Right. I've always had that conflict with waiting till 12 weeks. Just a little bit about me. I had 4 miscarriages, and, it's at first you don't want to tell people, but then when you have a couple of losses, I found that I did want to tell people, because if I had a loss, I wanted them to know. I didn't want to call and be like, oh, I was pregnant and now I'm not anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot to deal with on your own, And
Mm-hmm.
so we dealt with it, and I went to the doctor, and she said, my OB, and she said, it's the estrogen. She said, just like the blood clot, the estrogen rises during your pregnancy. And I believe that's what happened here.
Mm.
So then I went to a specialist, really great guy at Nashville Fertility, that Allison recommended on the show, because she had dealt with him in her own struggles that she mentions, and we talk about in episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Paige, I think you're fertile myrtle, but I think the problem is that this baby, this estrogen, I just don't know. If you have another blood clot, is it going to kill the baby, or is it going to kill you?
Oh, wow.
So then we had to think about, what we wanted to do, right?
Yeah, that's very heavy.
And then we thought, okay, so what if we had our eggs removed? My eggs removed, I say ours, and then mixed with my husband's yin yang, and we try to get an embryo, and we used a gestational carrier.
Mm-hmm.
So we did it.
Okay.
Super Bowl Sunday, here come the eggs. I was on, the Lovenox shots to make sure I didn't have a blood clot while I was stimulated, right?
Right.
And went through all the rigmarole, stayed in Nashville, real close to the hospital in case something happened.
Sure.
And I mean, I looked like I was in my 3rd trimester, the day before my egg retrieval. My goodness.
Right.
I mean, but here they come, and they were great.
Okay, sorry, just backing up a little bit. Was it hard to come to that decision, or was it kind of like life or death? Like you were like, I can't do it any other way.
To me, I don't think it was hard to come to that decision, because, I knew that at that point we wanted to be parents. My life had changed. I was married now, and I wanted to do this. So I was like, let's just roll. I mean, when I make my mind up, I just want to do it. And I think a lot of women do that. And ones that don't achieve their goal, it's got to be heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to tell them, don't stop. I mean, you've got to find a way. And I mean, you've got to be your own advocate, your own healthcare advocate, your own emotional support. And you've just got to push yourself to get to your goal. I think a lot of people just give up and go, well, wasn't in the cards. Well, I wasn't going to take no for an answer.
Hold that thought. On this episode, I am super proud to partner with Thrive Cosmetics, an independent, woman-founded and owned beauty brand that specializes in high-performance makeup and skincare that is vegan and cruelty-free. You guys know how much I'm obsessed with female-owned companies and female founders, and how I love to support other female-led businesses, and Thrive is one of those, and it's awesome for a few different reasons. Number 1, their mission is to be bigger than beauty, which means for every purchase, they donated much-needed products and funds to nonprofit partners nationwide who are helping women facing significant challenges to thrive again. Number 2, their products. They're amazing. I got a whole bunch of them the other day. I love their Defying Gravity Eye Lifting Cream, which really depuffs and tightens your eye area. But OMG, I'm now obsessed with their best-selling Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara, which adds length and volume and makes you look super hot. This is the mascara you might have heard about that's sold every 5 seconds, which has more than 7,000 5-star reviews, and which won Glamour's Best Clean Beauty Product of 2020 award for the best mascara. I was wearing it the other day, and Ever even said, "Mom, are you wearing fake lashes?" The other thing I love is that their products, like I said, are 100% vegan and cruelty-free. They never test on animals, and they are even PETA certified. So the best news, guys, is you get 15% off just for being an Infertile AF listener. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/infertileaf for 15% off your first purchase. You can start thriving and help women in need today by going to thrivecosmetics.com. It's spelled THRIVECAUSEMETICS.com/infertile AF for 15% off your purchase. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I felt the same way as you. So was it hard for you guys to find a gestational carrier? And can you tell me about that process a little bit?
It wasn't hard. We were lucky to have plenty of great embryos. And I found a great lady, and she had done this before.
Did you go through an agency?
No, did not go through an agency, but I did go through an attorney.
Okay.
That specialized in this. And, she didn't charge me tons of fees or anything like that. She said, hey, I know a lady, and she has done this before, and she lives close to your geographic area. It's about a 3-hour drive. And so I used her, and we were so excited. One boy, AJ, perfect. And we had our baby showers, and there was a cord accident 2 weeks before the due date.
Oh, no. Okay.
And he died.
I'm so sorry. Whoa.
And
tell me about that. That must have been really, really tough.
Yeah. I mean, financially, you're thinking about it, and emotionally, you're thinking about it. And then I'm thinking about my marriage, my gosh, what the hell has just happened to me?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how could I fail again? What did I do wrong?
Why did you feel like it was that you were a failure?
Well, I thought, did I maybe pick the wrong carrier, or did I not check all the boxes right here? What did I do?
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't do anything.
Right.
And it took me a while to realize I didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sad. We had to have a funeral and, bury our sweet little boy, and got to hold him and spend some time with him. And it was pretty terrible.
So sorry. So was it the cord was like wrapped around?
No, it just got kinked. It got kinked like a water hose, is the way the doctor described it to me.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't around his neck. He looked perfect, when we held him and everything. It was just kinked like a water hose. So, and I felt for my carrier,
Mm-hmm.
She felt the same way I did, like she had done something wrong. She didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
She did the best. She did her job, and I mean, it was emotional for her because you could tell she was a driven person, and she wanted to achieve this goal for me just as much as I did,
Mm-hmm.
And we tried to comfort her and be there for her and her husband too,
Mm-hmm.
who selflessly, did this for other people. It takes special people to do this, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Special people. And then, it pisses me off when people say, they do it for the money. Well, let me tell you something. They don't do it for the money. That's not what it's about. They do it because they have a need to help others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, it just wasn't in the cards for me. I kind of got a little bit of that give up point after all this,
Of course. So you've gone through a lot. Yeah.
And then here's Allison call me on the phone. Nope. Not going to do it. You're not going to give up. I said, well, Allison, I don't know, in my 40s now. She said, you got the embryos. They're there.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't know if I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
She made the appointment. She had me go in to see the same doctor again. And she said, you tell them this is supposed to be your first Christmas with these babies, with a baby, and you don't have one. She said, you go in there and you tell that man. And she said, you want 2? I said, 2? She said, oh, yeah, you want 2 because you don't want to go through this again. You want to try to get 2. And I said, and if one doesn't take,
Mm-hmm.
got 2.
So how many embryos did you have frozen at that point?
At that point, I had 8 more.
Wow. Okay.
So we went in, talked to the doctor, and he said, well, let's do it. And so he told me what he was looking for in a surrogate that would carry 2, as far as someone had carried 2 before.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that was, tall, was able to do it. And I found her.
Mm-hmm.
And I found her through a Facebook group, actually.
Really? Did you put up like a post that you were looking for somebody?
Well, a little bit generally. And I had an inbox message from a lady that worked at a newspaper in Salt Lake City. And she said, "Hey, I know a girl
Mm-hmm.
and she was going to be a carrier for someone else. And I think they ended up getting pregnant right before. And this lady had already been through all of her testing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I reached out to her and we connected and she was the one. And we put 2 embryos in and I got 2 babies, girl.
Oh my gosh. That must have been such a relief when you found out that it was going to work.
Well, I never really realized it was going to work. I think still today, it's like, did it work? And I gave my little boy who's 22 months old Tylenol this morning, and yes, it worked. I mean, but I don't know if it ever really hits you because as soon as it happens, it's like, okay, I got to go into the mode. I'm mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And, but it happened and she was a wonderful, great woman with a great attitude and did a wonderful job. And, here we are. We did it.
Can I ask you, Paige, what was your, if you don't mind, like your relationship with her? Like, were you going on appointments with her?
Yeah, I went on appointments with her. Before we did this process, I met her in person at great length, talked on the phone. So, yeah, I went on appointments with her. And, my husband went on appointments too. Mm-hmm. And then when our babies were born, they were born early, like most twins are. Doesn't matter if it's a gestational carrier or not.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the NICU. We had some NICU time. Mm-hmm. And my husband and I swapped back and forth for those days in the NICU. And then we brought our babies home. And the crazy thing was, oh my gosh, I was so tired. We got home that night, but I'm so excited to have my babies at home. And I knew that we had to wake up and feed them and all that stuff. And I woke up the next morning. I told my husband, I said, oh my gosh, he said, they cried all night at the foot of the bed and you didn't even wake up.
What?
I mean, I was like, out, and I guess
your body probably like shut down because you'd gone through so much.
I think it was just like saying, it's out, like you're checking out of this situation. You're so tired, but the kids are great. But the thing that I look back on, it's so hard financially for people to do this. And I was lucky that, and I hate to say that late in life, but later in life, we had the financial means. Mm-hmm. In my 20s, I could have never done something like this.
Right.
I wouldn't have had the money. Now, think about these people and young people that are trying to do this. And, we just have to have a network of encouragement.
Absolutely.
And we all have to. And I've had, even since the show, a lot of people DM me on Instagram. And if anyone listening to this wants to, at the Paige Dennis, you can just message me. I'll answer you back. I answer everybody back. I'll talk to you about your struggles. I'll give you an opinion. I'll be a sounding board, whatever you want. But sometimes we all don't have that someone we can talk to about it. I was lucky. I had Allison, and we could talk about it together. And she was the coach. I really say that she was my coach. She coached me through it and to it.
Yeah, absolutely. What a good best friend. But yeah, you're right. That's the whole point of, me doing this podcast and you sharing your story too, is letting people know they're not alone and that there's community out there if they need it.
Yeah. And I think another thing is there's so many different facets to infertility, because let's face it, I was fertile, but then I had these challenges and other people have their own particular challenge and no story is exactly the same.
Nope.
They're all different. I mean, this is, people get cancer and there's all different kinds of cancer. People get infertility. There's all different kinds of infertility here.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what we as a community and as women have to say, you're not damaged goods. Mm-mm. I mean, it's not the taboo topic that you should never talk about. Mm-hmm. We've all got to extend the branch and say, look, I'm here to help you. Mm-hmm. And teach what we know to each other to be healthcare advocates, because for ourselves and our prospective family, because everything is different and everybody picks up one thing. I feel like every person I talk to about this has picked up one particular facet of infertility tidbit that I did not know.
Same. Yeah. What's one tidbit that you have picked up that you would like to share? I
think one of the tidbits for me that I think is important to share to people is you do not have to use an agency. Financially, I mean, I'm not saying the agencies are bad. I'm just saying if you are intelligent and organized enough, which most of us are that have gotten this far in life with this struggle, you can manage this yourself with a great attorney that specializes in this, that's, certified with different organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, you can save yourself a lot of money, because I think the first thing people look at is, okay, I'm going to go to this agency, and they're looking at, that $50,000 finder's fee, and they're like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Or you've got to put all that money in an escrow account. Whoa. And I think there's ways to get around it. In my case, I provided a bank letter of credit that said I could, borrow money if I wanted to. I mean, I didn't have $200,000 just sitting in a checking account. Who does?
Mm-hmm.
Who does?
Right.
And I think people don't need to automatically think that financially they can't do it, because you can. Right. You can figure out a way. And there's some, grants and different things out there. And, I didn't feel like we needed to apply for that. We had the money that we could get a hold of to do it. But I just think that that the main tidbit is you can do this without an agency if you get to the point I did, or if you have the circumstance I did.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's still my baby. I mean, when I look at my little girl, she's still smiling. I mean, even if you adopted a baby, that's your baby. Absolutely. And, be careful. My grandmother used to say to me, be careful who you hang with, because you'll soon grow to resemble them. I don't care if you adopted your baby, it's going to look like you some.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like that. I know plenty of people that have adopted children from all walks of life and all different ethnicities. And I always see, like, when I see them, I feel like I pick up, look through the eyes, or look through, and it's crazy, but I really think that's true.
Well, have you heard of epigenetics?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think I believe in that. And I had a guest on my show a couple episodes ago who is a donor egg mom, and she got into epigenetics a lot. It's fascinating. And if anybody hasn't listened to that's listening to this, go back and listen to Victoria's episode, because it's really cool.
I'll go back and listen to that. That sounds good.
It's really cool. I think you really like it. But wow, what a story, Paige. And I'm so glad you have your little twins. What are their names?
Delta Paige, after me, and Zachary David, after my husband. Because I'm a firm believer women can name babies after them too now. For sure. Why not? Absolutely. So, yeah. If anybody wants to reach out to you, like you said, they can DM you at the Paige Dennis. Yes, please. Is there anything else you want to add, Paige? Just if somebody's out there and they're listening to this and they're going to give up, don't. Mm-hmm. Don't give up, because I promise you, when you hold your baby, however you get that baby, or if it's not a baby, it's an older child, when you get that child, all the love's going to come out, and you're going to be happy you completed this journey. Okay. Hey again. Thank you guys so much for listening to my conversation with Paige. And she is genuine when she says you can DM her. So if you want to reach out to her, you can go to the Paige Dennis on Instagram, and she will answer all of your questions and probably make you roll on the floor laughing, because she's that funny and cool. So thanks again. Don't forget to check out Fertility Rally Live, and I will talk to you guys next time.